Okay, picture this. You're lying in bed, it's, I don't know, 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, and you're just doom scrolling.
We've all been there.
Totally. And maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's Instagram Reels, and suddenly the algorithm serves you something that just, stops your thumb mid-swipe.
I know exactly what you're talking
You
about.
see this water that's just an impossible electric turquoise. The sand is blindingly white, like sponge sugar.
Right, there's a rustic wooden boat bobbing gently in the waves.
Yes, exactly. And the caption, it's screaming at you in bold, all-caps letters, the Maldives of Vietnam.
It's the classic travel hook. It's practically a genre of its own at this point.
It really is. And your brain instantly goes, okay, I need to go there. I need that in my life.
Hmm.
So you book the flight, you pack the swimsuit, you land.
And you step out of the airport expecting, well, the Maldives.
You're expecting overwater bungalows and silence and, that resort feeling. But instead, you are just hit with the smell of diesel, salt, and fermenting fish sauce.
The trifecta.
And you look around and it's not a resort island at all. It's a raw, gritty, concrete, working port city.
And that disconnect, that jarring moment of expectation versus reality, that is exactly the friction point we are dealing with today. We are doing a deep dive into Quy Nhon.
Quy Nhon. Yeah, even the name sounds a bit mysterious if you haven't been there.
And specifically, we're looking at the reality of this city right now in February 2026.
Right.
Because there is a massive gap, a canyon, really, between the marketing hype that started bubbling up back in, 2023, and the reality on the ground today.
It's the ultimate Instagram versus reality showdown. And we have a stack of sources here to help us navigate it. We've got logistics breakdowns, travel diaries from experts like Phil and H who have actually been on the ground this month.
Yeah, some really solid reporting.
And we have some really interesting economic data. And all of it paints a picture of a place that is, well, let's just say it's complicated.
Complicated is the right word. But it's also polarizing. The source material makes a really bold claim right off the bat. It says that Quy Nhon is better than Da Nang for exactly 50% of visitors.
And a total nightmare for the other 50%?
Exactly. It's a binary experience. There is very little middle ground here.
Oh, wow.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty simple. By the end of this hour, we're going to help you figure out exactly which half you fall into.
Okay.
Are you the person who finds a raw, untouched paradise here? Or are you the person who ends up sweating on a dusty roadside wondering why on earth you didn't just go to Phuket?
I love that. It's a love it or hate it litmus test. And to set the scene, we really have to talk about the vibe. Because reading through these reports from 2026, it feels like we're talking about a glitch in the timeline.
It really does. The best description I found in the notes, and this really resonated with me, is that Quy Nhon in 2026 feels like time travel. It's like stepping back into the Vietnam of the late 1990s or, say, early 2000s.
Okay, in what sense? How so?
In the sense that it's raw, it's authentic, there is very little English spoken.
Right.
The menus are cardboard with handwritten Vietnamese. But, and here's the glitch, everyone has 5G connectivity, and you might be staying in a brand new high-end resort with a robotic toilet.
So it's analog meets digital. It's a frontier town that just happens to be plugged into the matrix.
Precisely. It's a city that is developing at two different speeds. The infrastructure is racing ahead, but the culture is still very much rooted in that traditional, slow-paced coastal life.
Okay.
But we need to look past that secret beach town cliche.
Yeah.
We have to. We need to analyze the logistics, the 2026 pricing models, the safety checks, and really answer the question, is this destination worth the effort?
Because it does require effort. I'm getting that sense very clearly.
It absolutely does. This is not a sit back and be served kind of place.
It does. This isn't a sit back and be served kind of place. So let's unpack this. Let's start with the context. Why are we talking about Quy Nhon now? Why is February 2026 such a critical moment for this specific city?
Well, if you look at the development timeline, we are sitting in a very, very specific economic window. The sources call it the 18-month window.
The countdown clock. That sounds a little ominous.
It's more of an opportunity cost calculation. Think about it this way. Right now, in 2026, the international chains, the Marriotts, the Hiltons, the big investment firms, they're all building these mega projects out on the peninsula.
Okay.
If you look at the skyline, you can see the cranes, you can see the steel skeletons of these massive hotels going up.
So the hardware is going up.
The hardware is going up, but it's not finished. The rooms aren't online yet. The ribbon cuttings haven't happened. So the secret vibe is eroding. It's not a totally unknown fishing village anymore.
Right, the word is getting out.
But the full tidal wave of mass tourism hasn't hit because there literally aren't enough beds to put them in yet.
Ah, so it's in that pre-completion gap.
Exactly. You get the benefit of the improved roads and the 5G, which are being built for the future crowds, but you don't have to deal with the crowds themselves yet.
But that window is closing fast.
Very fast. By 2028, this conversation will be completely different.
Which begs the question, why hasn't it blown up already? I mean, we look at Da Nang, right? Da Nang just exploded. Nha Trang exploded. Why is Quy Nhon still in this strange in-between phase? Is it just the hotels?
It really comes down to the unsexy part of travel. Flight connectivity.
Yeah, logistics.
Always logistics. Even here in 2026, it's a massive bottleneck. We're seeing some limited charters coming in from Korea, maybe a few slots from Bangkok into Phuket Airport, but you don't have those direct flights from major Western hubs.
So no easy flight from London or New York.
No. And you don't have the hourly budget hops from everywhere in Asia like you do at Da Nang. You can't just decide on a whim in Singapore to pop over for the weekend.
So it's harder to get to. It requires intent. You have to really want to go.
Meaningfully harder.
Yeah.
And that filters the crowd. You don't get the massive tour buses of retirees who just want an easy package deal.
Yeah.
You don't get the hordes of backpackers in elephant pants just passing through on a whim because it's the next stop on the bus route. You only get people who chose to come to Quy Nhon.
Right, and the sources mentioned this creates a hybrid atmosphere. Because the international floodgates aren't fully open, the tourism is largely domestic. It's Vietnamese families on vacation.
Which changes the texture of the place entirely. And this is something I think listeners really need to grasp.
Okay.
When you walk down the promenade in Nha Trang, you're dodging promoters handing out flyers for happy hours and Western food. In Quy Nhon, you walk down the promenade and it's grandmothers doing aerobics at sunrise.
Chuckles. I love that image.
His family's eating seafood on tiny plastic stools. It feels lived in.
It feels like a real city.
Yes. It feels like a real Vietnamese city that just happens to be near a beach rather than a city that was built for the beach.
And that distinction leads us directly to the geography, which I think is the single biggest source of confusion and disappointment for people who book a trip here. We need to deconstruct this city versus resort divide.
Yes, this is absolutely crucial.
Because I think people hear beach town and they imagine walking out of their hotel lobby barefoot onto the sand.
And that is the biggest trap. If you take nothing else away from this deep dive, take this. Quy Nhon is, first and foremost, a working port city.
A working port, meaning industry, meaning ships.
Meaning the economy is built on fishing, wood processing, and manufacturing. It is concrete, it is loud, it is bustling. The city beach, the sand that touches the downtown grid, is a harbor. It's where ships dock. It's where the drainage flows.
Okay, so when you see those Instagram photos of the crystal clear water, the Maldives stuff.
That is not the city. That is not where your $30 hotel is located.
Right.
That is Kai Ko, or the resort areas on the peninsula. Those are often a 40-minute drive away. You have to cross a massive bridge, go through sand dunes, wind around these cliffs. It's a completely different ecosystem.
So if you book a hotel downtown expecting to hear the waves lapping gently against the shore and see turquoise water out your window,
you're going to hear scooters, trucks, and karaoke. And you're going to see darker, deep blue water with container ships on the horizon.
Okay, noted. That is a crucial expectation to manage. If you want the ease of Phuket, where the city is the resort, you are in the wrong place. This is a traveler's destination, not a vacation destination.
That's a perfect way to put it. You have to
Yeah.
navigate it. You have to move between these zones.
Oh.
You are an active participant in your logistics, not just a passive consumer of a view.
Okay, so let's say we've accepted the challenge. We know it's a working city. We know the water's far away. We're going to Quy Nhon. Let's talk about the arrival. You land at Phuket Airport. What's the vibe?
Well, first off, geographically, you aren't in the city. You're about 30 to 45 minutes away inland.
Okay.
But the sources describe this drive as almost a spiritual experience.
Really, an airport transfer. Usually that's the most boring, stressful part of the trip.
I know, but it's the landscape.
Yeah.
In 2026, the highway is pristine, brand new asphalt, very smooth. But because the airport is inland, you're driving through these vast, open spaces. It's just emerald green rice paddies stretching out to the horizon. And then off in the hills, you start to see these ancient brick towers.
Which in Champa Towers.
Right. These are remnants of the Champa Kingdom, which ruled this coast for centuries. They're these incredible red brick towers just standing alone on hilltops, crumbling but still majestic.
Wow.
Just sitting there in the landscape. It's this mix of modern infrastructure and ancient history right out the window. It sets the tone immediately that you are somewhere older, somewhere with layers.
And practical logistics. How are we getting from the rice paddies to the hotel? What are the options?
You have two main options, and this is where you start to see the 2026 development level. There's the shuttle bus, which is high value. It's efficient, has AC, costs just a few dollars, and drops you right at the Nguyen Tat Than statue in the center of the city.
The statue is the main landmark.
Yes, it's the central gathering point. Everyone knows it.
Oh,
Or, in 2026, you can use rideshare apps like Grab.
mm.
But, and this is a key difference from Saigon or Hanoi, don't expect it to be instant.
No, why not?
You're looking at a 10-minute wait time, maybe 15. The density of drivers just isn't there yet. In Saigon, you tap the phone, and a bike is there in 30 seconds. Here you tap, and you see the car is 4 kilometers away.
So it's a subtle reminder that you aren't in a mega metropolis. You need to have a little patience.
Exactly. Slow down. You're on Quy Nhon time now.
Okay, so we take the shuttle, we get to the city. What does Quy Nhon actually look like? Help us visualize the layout.
Imagine a crescent moon. That's the coastline. The city is laid out in a grid hugging that curve.
Yeah.
But the sensory experience, the sources really emphasize the light.
The light, that's an interesting detail.
It's described as exposed. If you've been to Hanoi, you know those big leafy trees that create these canopy tunnels over the streets?
Yeah, it's very shady and green.
Right. The streets are shaded. Quy Nhon doesn't really have that dense canopy in the city center. The streets are wide. The buildings are mostly low-rise concrete. It feels bright, open, and honestly, a bit dusty.
And hot. I'm guessing very hot.
Harshly hot. Biting heat. It's drier here than other parts of Vietnam, so the sun feels more intense. It's not just warm, it's aggressive. It bounces off the concrete and the asphalt and just hits you from all angles.
We'll get to the survival guide for that heat later, because I know it dictates the whole schedule. But I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier about the isolation.
Yeah.
Because we have this split between the city and the resorts.
This is critical for choosing where to stay. If you look at the map, you have the city grid, and then you have the resorts down the coast, like in the Baires area or near Kai Co. If you stay in a resort, you are geographically stuck.
Stuck in paradise, though. I mean, that doesn't sound so bad.
In a way, you are in a beautiful bubble. But if you want street food or a cheap coffee or just to walk around the local market, you can't just walk out the door.
Right.
You are kilometers away from civilization. You need transport.
Right.
You are reliant on the resort for food, which means paying resort prices, and you're sort of cut off from the life of the city.
And if you stay in the city, what's the trade-off?
You get the urban noise, the traffic, the life. You can walk to 100 different noodle shops, but you don't get the silence. You don't get the private beach. You have to choose your compromise: energy or tranquility.
There's also a note here about linguistic isolation. This seemed really interesting to me.
Yes. This is fascinating. Even if you've traveled in Vietnam before, even if you speak some Vietnamese, Binh Dinh province, where Quy Nhon's, has a very distinct accent.
How distinct are we talking?
It's thick and it's fast. The sources say that even native Vietnamese speakers from the north or south sometimes have to ask people to slow down.
Wow. So my Duolingo Vietnamese isn't going to cut it.
Not likely. And here's the kicker. Even translation apps struggle with the local slang sometimes. The AI catches standard Vietnamese, but the Binh Dinh dialect can just trip it up completely.
Which contributes to that feeling of being an outsider.
It does, but the sources frame this as a positive thing, and I think they're right.
How so?
It means you aren't being catered to. You're observing a culture that exists for itself, not for you. When you walk into a shop, they aren't switching to English to sell you something. You have to mime. You have to smile. You have to use body language.
That's a really healthy perspective for a traveler. It's humbling, in a way.
It is. It forces you to pay attention to context. It makes the interactions more memorable because you actually had to work for them. It's not transactional. It's an experience.
Okay, let's talk money, because one of the big selling points we always hear about Vietnam is the cost. But it's 2026. Inflation is a global reality. Is Quy Nhon still cheap?
Relative to the region, absolutely. The sources call it a value outlier.
What does that mean in real terms? Give me an example.
Okay, it means the price hasn't caught up to the quality yet. This is that 18-month window again. The hardware is getting better, but the prices are still trying to attract people.
Right.
So if you book a luxury villa with a private pool here, you might pay, say, $500 a night.
Which is not exactly pocket change for most people.
No, but compare it. That same experience, that same square footage, that same private plunge pool in Da Nang would be $1,200 in Phuket. You're looking at $2,000 easily, maybe more.
Okay, so you're getting a massive discount for the inconvenience of it not being a major hub yet.
Exactly. You are paid for your effort. Let's break it down by budget, though, because the sources gave us a great spreadsheet analysis for different types of travelers.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start with the backpacker, the budget traveler. Is this place viable for them?
This is where the value is just undeniable. In 2026, a solo backpacker can thrive, not just survive, but thrive on about $35 USD a day.
$35. That covers accommodation, food, and transport.
Everything. That gets you a dorm bed for $10, and we're talking clean, modern hostels, often right on the beach in places like Bicep. It gets you a motorbike rental for $4.50,
Okay.
and it gets you street food meals like Bonzio, these amazing shrimp pancakes, for 60 cents.
60 cents for a meal. I can't even buy a pack of gum for 60 cents here.
I know, and not just sustenance food. We're talking delicious, fresh, made-to-order food. So for the backpacker, the value proposition is completely off the charts. You feel rich.
Okay, what about the mid-range? The couple on a romantic getaway who wants a bit of comfort but doesn't have a celebrity budget.
This is probably where the destination shines the brightest. We're talking a budget of maybe $90 to $120 USD a day for a couple.
So what does that get you?
You can get a 4-star ocean view hotel room, clean, modern, good AC, for $45 a night.
For the room, not per person.
For the room, you can have massive seafood feasts. We're talking crab, squid, clams, the works, for $25 for 2 people. You could afford to hire a private taxi for a day tour instead of riding a scooter. You live like royalty for a very reasonable price.
That's incredible value. And then the high end, the luxury traveler.
The luxury sector is booming. You have the Anantar, you have the new builds near EOGO. We're talking $300 to $600 a night. The hardware is brand new. But, I think there's a big but here, the service is still catching up.
How so? What does that mean?
The staff are lovely, they're kind, they're eager to please, but they might not have that polished, intuitive 5-star training you get in Bangkok or Hong Kong yet. They might not anticipate your every need.
So the software isn't quite at the level of the hardware yet.
That's a great way to put it. And there's a hidden cost trap here that the source has flagged.
Oh, I saw this. The transport trap.
Right. If you stay at that beautiful, isolated luxury resort 30 kilometers from the city, you are isolated. If you want to go into the city for that famous street food dinner we just talked about,
Yeah.
the round-trip taxi is going to cost you $25 or $30.
Ouch. That adds up really fast.
You do that every night, you are blowing your budget just on moving back and forth.
Yeah.
So the cheap destination becomes expensive if you don't plan your logistics. You're paying a distance tax.
That is such a crucial tip. It's not just the room rate, it's the access rate.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You had to factor that in.
Okay, speaking of planning and traps, let's move into the strategic section. We've identified 3 major traps that listeners need to avoid. We already touched on the first one, the city beach trap.
Yes. Just to reiterate, because it's so important, do not book a city hotel expecting a private beach paradise. The water is darker, there are ships. It's fine for a morning jog or a quick dip to cool off, but it's not the Instagram dream.
You will be disappointed.
100%.
Yeah.
If you book a hotel on the promenade thinking you're in the Maldives, you will be disappointed.
Trap number 2, the G-track confusion. This one sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen for train travelers.
It's a classic logistical stumbling block. The Reunification Express is a great way to travel. It's scenic, it's romantic in its own way. But if you look at your ticket, it might say Quy Nhon.
Okay.
However, the main north-south railway line doesn't actually touch the coast. It runs inland.
So the train bypasses the city entirely.
It stops at a station called Du Tri. Think of it as a satellite town. It's about 10 kilometers inland from Quy Nhon City.
So you arrive, and then what? You're just stranded.
Well, imagine this scenario. It's 11:00 p.m. The train is often late. You step off onto the platform at Du Tri. It's dark. You are in a small provincial town. You are 10 kilometers from your hotel, and you are suddenly surrounded by very aggressive taxi drivers shouting at you.
That sounds incredibly stressful, especially after a long journey.
If you don't have a plan, you are vulnerable. You're going to get overcharged. You're going to be confused and stressed out. It's a terrible start to your trip.
So the fix, what do you do?
Have the rideshare app ready and open before you even get off the train, or even better, pre-arrange a transfer with your hotel. Have a guy with a sign waiting for you. Do not just wing it at Du Tri station at midnight.
Got it. Plan ahead. Trap number 3, the siesta trap. Now, you mentioned the heat earlier. How serious is this trap?
This is a cultural one, but it's rooted in biology. You have to respect it. From about 11:30 a.m. to 2:00 p.m., the city shuts down.
Completely. Like everything.
Pretty much. Government offices, shops, many restaurants. It's like a ghost town. The shutters come down. The streets are empty.
Why? Is it just tradition?
It's the sun. We talked about the heat earlier. The UV index hits extreme levels. It is physically dangerous to be out and active at noon. The locals know this. They retreat. They nap. They stay in the shade.
Yeah.
It's not laziness. It's survival.
So if you're a tourist and you try to go shopping at 1:0 p.m. because that's what you do on vacation.
You're going to find locked doors. And you're going to be the only person walking down the street, sweating profusely, looking absolutely ridiculous.
Tuckles, the mad dogs and Englishmen syndrome.
Exactly. You stick out like a sore thumb. The advice from all the sources is to structure your day like a local.
Okay.
Be active. Early start at 6 a.m. Go to the market, get coffee, see the sights. Then by 11 a.m., disappear. Go back to your hotel. Sleep, sit by the pool, read a book. Do not come back out until after 3:00 p.m.
That actually sounds like a pretty nice rhythm once you get used to it. It forces you to slow down.
It is. It's a 2-day cycle. In one day, you get a morning day and an evening day. You just have to lean into it.
All right, let's get into the sensory details, the highs and the lows, because every trip has them. What is the absolute peak experience in Quy Nhon if you could only do one thing?
According to the sources, it's the sunrise at Eogeo.
Eogeo, that translates to windy waste, right?
Yes, it's a rocky saddle, a cliffside path jutting out into the ocean. The recommendation is to get there at 5:15 a.m.
Oh, that is painfully early on vacation.
It is. But picture this. You're on a scooter in the dark. You get there. The wind is howling. It's called windy waste for a reason. You can hear the waves crashing against the rocks below, but you can't quite see them yet.
Okay.
And you are standing there with about 50 Vietnamese tourists.
So it's not a solitary moment. You aren't alone with nature.
No, and that's the beauty of it. Everyone is dressed up. The women are in long flowing dresses, full makeup at 5 in the morning. They're taking photos. There's this sense of communal joy.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's not a quiet Zen meditation where everyone shushes you. It's a shared celebration that the sun is coming up. It's energetic. It's happy.
I love that it's participating in the local joy rather than just observing scenery. You're part of the event.
Exactly. It feels communal and real.
And on the flip side, we have the best meal, and this is going to make you hungry. What should we be eating?
Jumping shrimp pancakes. The local name is Banzio Tom Nay.
Wait, jumping, what does that mean?
Because the shrimp are so fresh, they are literally jumping in the basket before they hit the griddle. They're alive seconds before they are cooked.
Whoa, that is fresh. You can't get fresher than that.
You go to Street Food Street. Yes, there is a street basically dedicated to this. And you sit on those little red plastic stools.
The classic Vietnam experience.
The classic. And you get these small, crispy pancakes topped with these sweet, tiny shrimp, bean sprouts, and onions. You wrap them in rice paper with a mountain of herbs mint, basil, lettuce, and dip them in this sweet and savory peanut fish sauce.
And the cost for this incredible meal?
You can have a massive feast, maybe 12 of these pancakes, drinks, everything, for about $6 USD.
$6! That's just incredible.
It's that feeling of abundance. You can eat as much as you want without any financial guilt. You can just point and say, more. That is a specific kind of travel happiness that is hard to find in 2026.
It really is. But we promised reality. We promised to debunk the myths. What's the major disappointment? Where does the dream break down?
Kaiko Beach at midday.
Ah, the Maldives spot, the one from the TikTok video.
The very same. Look, the water is blue. It is Maldivian blue. That part is true. The geology is stunning. But the experience, the source describes it as industrial tourism.
Oof, that does not sound relaxing.
You arrive, and it's just a wall of neon orange. Everyone is wearing life jackets because it's mandatory for the boat ride.
Right.
There is techno music blasting from loudspeakers on the beach. There are selfie stations everywhere, giant hearts, swings, big bird nests you can sit in. Herds of tourists are being shuttled around on canoes like they're on an assembly line.
So it's chaos. It's a theme park.
It's a theme park, disguised as a beach. If you go there expecting a quiet Robinson Crusoe moment where you commune with the ocean, you will be miserable. You will absolutely hate it.
Is there a workaround, or should we just skip it entirely?
No, don't skip it, but you have to hack it. It's all about timing. The tour groups, the big packages from the city, usually leave around 2:03 p.m. to go back.
So they clear out.
They clear out. If you go at 3:00 p.m., the noise dies down, the techno stops, the crowds thin out, And suddenly, you actually get to enjoy that blue water in peace. You get the beauty without the circus.
That is a pro tip right there. Timing is everything.
It really is in Quy Nhon. You have to be a contrarian. Go when others are sleeping, sleep when others are shopping.
Let's pivot to safety. We mentioned the heat, but let's go deeper. Is it safe for solo travelers, for women?
From a crime perspective, very, very safe. Violent crime is extremely low. You can walk the beach at night without looking over your shoulder. The sources highlight that a solo female traveler spent days wandering around, even in back alleys, without feeling threatened at all.
That's really good to hear.
However, there is the social anxiety factor.
With staring, you mentioned it.
Yes. Because Western tours are still somewhat novel here. Remember, no mass international flights people stare. They will point, kids will scream, "Hello!" and wave frantically.
So it's not malicious?
Not at all. It's pure curiosity.
Yeah.
But if you just want to blend in and be invisible, you can't. You are on stage. You are the show.
It can be draining if you're introverted. You feel like a celebrity, but not in a way you asked for.
Exactly. It demands energy. And then there's the environmental safety. We have to stress this again. The sun is the most dangerous thing in Quy Nhon.
More than the traffic. More than the food.
Yes. The UV index hits 11, which is categorized as extreme by 10:0 a.m.
10 in the morning, that's barely morning.
You see locals wearing hoodies, gloves, masks, multiple layers, even when it's 35 degrees Celsius. They aren't crazy. They are protecting themselves.
Right.
If you go out in a tank top with a little SPF 30, you will get burned badly. You will absolutely ruin your trip on the first day.
So cover up. Wear a hat.
Like a local. Hoodie up. Use an umbrella. Respect the star at the center of our solar system. It will win.
What about scams? Every tourist destination has them. Is there anything specific to watch out for in Quy Nhon?
There's one that is very specific to 2026 Quy Nhon and its seafood scene.
Yeah.
The seafood switch.
Okay. How does that work?
You're at a restaurant, usually one with big neon signs and an English menu. You go to the tank, you pick a live crab. It looks great. It's big. It's lively.
Yeah.
They weigh it in front of you. You agree on the price. You sit down. But the crab that arrives on your plate is smaller, or the meat is mushy because it's not fresh.
They swapped it.
They swapped it in the kitchen. Your live crab went back in the tank, and they cooked an old dead one from the fridge.
That is so bold. How do you stop that?
Well, you can be aggressive and take a photo of the crab on the scale, maybe even make a little mark on its shell. That signals you're paying attention.
Okay.
But the better advice is to just avoid the places with the big neon signs and English menus. Go where the locals are eating. If a place is packed with Vietnamese families, they aren't pulling that scam because the locals would never stand for it.
Follow the crowd. That's usually good advice in Vietnam.
Always. If it's empty, there's a reason.
One last comfort issue. Noise.
The soundtrack of Vietnam. Karaoke.
Is it bad here? Or just, present?
It's robust.
Yeah.
Because it's a working city and people work hard, they play hard. In residential areas, the singing starts at 7 p.m. Mobile speakers are rolled out onto the sidewalk, and it goes until the party ends.
Which could be very late.
Very late. And it's loud. If you're
Yeah.
booking an Airbnb in a local neighborhood, do not expect silence. Bring earplugs. They are mandatory.
It's just part of the culture.
It is. People are having fun. But if you're a light sleeper, it's a problem you need to prepare for.
Okay, we've looked at the good, the bad, the noisy, and the hot. Now comes the moment of truth. The verdict matrix. We said at the beginning that 50% of people will love it and 50% will hate it. Let's identify who is who.
Let's run through the personas.
First up, the backpacker. The person with the big pack and a real sense of adventure.
Verdict, yes. A resounding yes.
Why? What's the draw?
It's cheap. It's authentic. There are legendary hostels like Lysa Beach in the village of Baizep that have this incredible community vibe. You meet real travelers, not just tourists. But, and this is a big condition, you must be confident on a motorbike.
Because of the distance between things.
Exactly. If you can't ride a bike, you are stranded. You can't afford taxis on a backpacker budget to go 15 kilometers every day. You need that mobility to unlock the place.
Okay. Persona number 2, the mid-range couple. Maybe it's a honeymoon, maybe just a trip.
Verdict. Yes, but with caveats. Big caveats.
What are the caveats?
You need to manage expectations. Don't expect rose petals on the bed and silence in the city center. Embrace the chaos. Eat the street food on the plastic stools. Rent a private car for the beach days so you aren't stressed about transport.
So you need the right mindset.
Yes. If you can roll with the punches, it's romantic in a raw, adventurous way. If you need everything to be perfect and seamless, you will fight. This is not a no-stress destination.
Persona number 3, the family with toddlers.
Verdict. And no,
Hard pass. No
I'm
exceptions.
calling it hard pass.
Why so definitive?
It's just too much friction. The heat is too aggressive for little ones. They get cranky and dehydrated fast. The sidewalks are non-existent or blocked by parked motorbikes, so you can't use a stroller. You have to carry the kid everywhere.
That sounds exhausting.
It is.
Mm.
The ocean currents can be strong, and finding
Okay.
kid-friendly Western food like plain pasta or chicken nuggets is a real struggle. You don't want to be fighting your 3-year-old to eat spicy soup in 35-degree heat. Just go to Da Nang instead. It's built for families.
That's very clear. And finally, the luxury traveler. Money is no object. They want the best.
Verdict, yes. A strong yes.
Because of those new villas?
Yes. Places like the Anantara or Mare offer world-class privacy. You can check in, get incredible spa treatments, have private beach access, and completely ignore the city if you want to.
So you just stay in your bubble.
It's a place to decompose in luxury. You just sit there and rot in the best possible way.
Decompose in luxury. I am definitely using that.
It's the goal, right. But you have to be okay with staying on the resort grounds for most of your trip.
So if you're listening and thinking, okay, Quy Nhon isn't for me, where should you go? What are the alternatives in 2026?
Okay, if you want the nightlife, the party, and the ease of English menus everywhere, you go to Nha Trang. It's crowded, it's loud, but it's easy. You don't have to think.
Okay, the party town.
Yeah.
And if you want the starter pack for Vietnam, the safest bet.
That's Da Nang. It has the international airport, the Dragon Bridge. Hoi An is right there for a day trip. It's the perfect blend of culture and beach, and it's very safe and easy to navigate. It's the one to recommend to your nervous parents.
But what if you're adventurous? What if you want what Quy Nhon used to be? Before the 5G and the resorts, what if you want the real frontier?
Then you need to head one province south to Phu Yen, specifically the city of Tu Hill.
To Heya, I've honestly never even heard of that.
Exactly. And that's the point. It's Quy Nhon 10 years ago. It's sleepy, it's cheaper, the beaches are empty, there are no tourists. It's the next frontier. It's where you go if you really want to disappear.
Okay, but say I want to do it all. I want the history, the frontier, and the luxury. Is there a way to combine these places?
There is a golden itinerary for 2026 that links these up perfectly using the train.
Ooh, tell us.
Okay. You fly into Da Nang, spend 2 days, get acclimated, see Hoi An. Then you take the train south to Quy Nhon.
The luxury train, the Viettage.
Yes, the Viettage is the luxury option. Free-flowing wine, 3-course meals, massages on board. It's an experience in itself. Or just the regular train, which is still great.
Okay.
It's a 6-hour ride hugging the coastline. The views of the cliffs and the ocean are spectacular. You spend 3 days in Quy Nhon, then you hop back on the train for just an hour or two to Tu Hoa, spend a few days there in total quiet, and then you fly out of Tu Hoa Airport.
That sounds like the ultimate Central Coast trip.
It covers the history, the modern development, and the raw frontier. It's the best of all worlds.
Amazing. So let's wrap this up. Let's bring it all together. What is the final synthesis here?
It comes down to that distinction between a tourist and a traveler.
What's the difference in this context? How do you define them?
A tourist in this context wants the destination to come to them. They want the comfort, the familiarity, the ease. They want the destination to bend to their needs. Quy Nhon punches that mindset. It's too hot, too loud, too spread out. It fights back.
And the traveler.
A traveler goes to the destination, they adapt to the siesta, they learn a few words of Vietnamese to order the shrimp pancakes, they brave the midday sun, or rather they avoid it smartly. Quy Nhon rewards effort. The harder you look, the more beautiful it gets.
And the window is closing on that particular experience.
It is. The mega projects are rising. That raw feeling, that tension between the concrete reality of the port and the blue water dream of the peninsula is fleeting. The city is defined by that tension right now. It won't be like this in 2028.
So the advice is, go now.
Go before the menus are all in English with QR codes. Go before the mystery is gone forever.
And bring earplugs.
Definitely bring earplugs. That's non-negotiable.
Chuckles. All right, that's our deep dive on Quy Nhon in 2026. Whether you are now frantically packing your bags or decisively crossing it off your list, we hope you know exactly where you stand.
Safe travels.
See you in the next one.